Hello guys. Today we will be talking about the topic grey rocking and why we can use how and why we can use grey rocking to protect ourselves against manipulative behaviors, against emotional abuse, against psychological abuse. So grey rocking is nothing but setting boundaries, setting strong boundaries to protect yourself from all kinds of abusive behavior, whether it is emotional abuse, psychological abuse. This tactic of grey rocking is used whenever you're dealing with someone who is narcissistic or is having narcissistic tendencies, is trying to emotionally abuse you in some or the other way. And this experience of abuse can happen anywhere. It can happen in close knit family situations, be it your own parents, your siblings, your friends, somebody you're working with at your workplace, your co-workers, or even for your manager for that matter. Well, there has been no evidence of this method working for a very long period of time, because uh, this technique, when you start using it, it has some or the other effect on your mental health as well. So in the long run, using this for a very long period of time may or may not be beneficial, but for a short term, for a short period, I guess if you utilize this, you would be fairly successful in protecting your mental health, protecting your mental well-being and your physical well-being in general. So what grey rocking is all about? Grey rocking is a method wherein whenever you get into any interactions with somebody who's suffering from NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, or somebody who's trying to abuse you in any form, you just need to become uninteresting to that person, right? What really happens with these abusers is that they use your emotional reactions as a feed. They use it to feed their ego, they use it as a supply. So whenever they provoke you with any kind of a behavior, whether it is intentionally insulting you in front of people, humiliating you, or calling out names, or bullying you in some or the other way, the basic hidden agenda behind this is to break you mentally, right? To break you mentally and to provoke a reaction out of you. And when you react, whether it's anger or sadness or frustration, that reaction of yours is used as a supply to these people. And then you are portrayed as someone who's very oversensitive, who's dramatic, who is somebody who's not good enough when it comes to emotional regulation. So it in a way is a very I can say that it is a tactic which can help you protect yourself against such kind of behaviors. So what would you have to do when you use this technique? So what you need to do is you need to become completely unresponsive. You need to shut down your emotions, right? You have to have a grip over yourself. You need to control yourself in such a way that no emotions are shown, right? And what are the ways in which we showed our emotions or our reactions to situations that are happening around us in our surroundings? It is through our tone of voice, right? Your tone of your voice, your pitch, it reflects what you're feeling inside. So that is something you need to get hold of when something of this sort happens to you. So you need to always talk in a monotonous voice, a stable voice, a poised voice wherein you're not reflecting what is happening inside of you, right? Then another thing, another way wherein you showcase your emotion is through your face, right? Your face has to be blank. It has to be as unresponsive. You shouldn't be showing any emotions through your face. A subtle poised appearance wherein your gestures are communicating to the other person that you are in command of yourself, you are in control of yourself, and you're not ready to give in to the bait that is coming from the other person. So the number one thing, um, just close, just close off. Don't give any emotional reactions, because that is the number one thing that such kind of people feed on, and you shouldn't give them these reactions. Easier said than done. It takes practice to, you know, be in such control of yourself. For some people, I guess it may come naturally, but most of the people, most of the people, I guess it needs a lot of practice. You need to have full control of yourself when, you know, something of this sort happens to you, because uh, these things just happen suddenly, right? They just happen out of the blue. Like somebody humiliating you won't come and tell you that, okay, I'm going to humiliate you the other day, or, you know, sometime in the evening. So you need to be ready mentally. You need to be prepared that if something of this sort happens to me, this is the way that I'm going to react to it, right? So you can stay mindful. You can stay in the moment. You can be as self-aware as possible all the time whenever you are in a close proximity with someone who is having such abusive tendencies, right? Next thing is the personal information that you give to such people. Anything that is sensitive about you, or anything that can be used against you, to target you or to humiliate you, should be hidden. You shouldn't be discussing such information, and make sure this information is not out there, especially to these people who can use this information in a way to put you down, to humiliate you, to use this information against you. And it can happen in many ways. You know, they can spread gossip, they can spread rumors. In subtle ways, they may criticize you, and it can be through any way. Like, you know, they can use this information to bully you also, for that matter. So, for example, if you're someone who's having weight issues, and you know that the other person may try to put you down by talking something negative about your weight, so you might just avoid that topic altogether with that person. You may not discuss topics like appearance and clothing and all such things, wherein you know that such kind of a discussion may lead to that other person targeting you in a negative way, or, you know, try to put you down in a certain way. So this is one of the things that you can practice. Another thing is to limit your contact, to limit your interactions with such people. Obviously, when you are in a close knit family, when, you know, the person is very close to you, you're living living under the same roof, it becomes a little difficult. But this technique really helps when you go outside, when you're going out to, you know, whether that person is belonging to your friend circle or at your workplace. There, I guess this technique would really help you, wherein, you know, you need to keep your interactions as short as possible, as uninteresting as possible, as unresponsive as possible. Maybe, you know, you can just use short answers like a yes or a no to the questions that are asked from their end, and project yourself as someone who's just not interested in them, or is not interested in communicating with them. Or if there's something that is has to be communicated, you cannot avoid an interaction, then make sure that you come across as someone who's very much in control, is confident, knows what he's talking about, and stick to the subject, right? No going into personal details, no going off topic. Just talk about what is to be spoken about, like especially in professional settings. When you're going for a meeting, make sure you do not shift the agenda, and always be professional, whether it's talking about the project, the meetings. You need to be confident. You need to talk about the topic that you've come to speak about, and even if the other person tries to shift the conversation to something else, something that is provocative, something that might in a way cause an emotional outburst or cause you to react in a certain way. You should know and you should learn to bring the conversation back to track, right? Without you being affected in a negative way, without you you know uh, feeling nervous, without you feeling uncomfortable. So this is not something that happens overnight, obviously, but it takes practice, it takes understanding, and it takes for you to be in such situations firstly, right? And you need to be in the moment all the time, especially if you're being around someone who's having abusive tendencies. You need to be alert, you need to be in the moment, you need to be self-aware, because unless and until you cultivate these habits inside of you, you won't be able to deal with the situation. So that is how it is. Now, what happens when you apply the grey rocking method on the opposite party, the one that is abusing you in a certain way? Well, when you stop giving a reaction, when you stop feeding into their ego, you stop giving out any personal details through which they can abuse you or put you down or try to lower your self worth, the other person has nothing to feed on, right? He doesn't know, he just doesn't understand what is your weakness that I can use against you. So he would try a day or a two, or for a month or a two, and then finally he would just may you know redirect his target or might choose someone else to abuse. This can happen. If not, he may escalate his abusive tendencies. He might do it with more intensity, because finally now he's frustrated because he's not getting what he's expecting from you, and that is your reaction. You're not showing any interest to him. So he might intensify his actions, he might try to do more abusive things to you so that you give in. But even if that happens, you need to stay grounded. You need to be firm in your commitment towards yourself, that you're not going to give a reaction, you're not going to give in to that drama that he's trying to provoke out of you. So that is something that you can do. Another thing is that he might start feeling boring since you're not feeding into the drama, and he might redirect his attention, like I spoke before. And if not that, he would start getting frustrated and angry and escalate his efforts towards provoking a reaction out of you. But whatever it may be, you need to be committed to always being a grey rock, right? Completely boring, completely uninteresting, and unresponsive to all sorts of tactics that he or she is using on you. Now, what really happens with the one who is using the technique of grey rocking on someone who's suffering from NPD, or someone who's dealing with toxicity in their life? Well, you can use this technique of grey rocking for a short period of time when you're engaging with someone with a toxic behavior. And for a short period of time, I don't think it can impact your mental health. But if you engage with someone, with someone who's having these narcissistic tendencies or abusive behaviors towards you, and you're applying this technique for a very long time, it may have some repercussions on you. It may impact your mental health, because at the end of the day, we are humans and we need an outlet to our emotions, right? When someone is calling out names to you, trying to dismiss your emotions, trying to belittle you, trying to bring down your self-worth, humiliating you in some or the other way, it is um, it will wreak an havoc on your mental health. It is going to be very damaging to your mental health, your self-worth. your self-esteem will be crushed, and you could be in pain, you could be in prolonged period of pain and suffering, and you need an emotional outlet. A natural reaction is an anger outburst. A natural reaction is crying. A natural reaction is being withdrawn, because we are humans at the end of the day. We can't remain in control and be balanced all the time while all of this is happening to us. So having the right self care, having the right support when you're dealing with such kind of situations is very important. So you need to find out ways wherein you can soothe yourself, right? If you're not having a support system when something of this sort is happening with you, it is important that you self soothe. And loving yourself has been an ultimate tool to dealing with such situations. You need to remove a certain amount of time from your busy schedule to take care of yourself. Sit down in a corner, feel whatever has happened, and allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to feel all the negative emotions and understand that it has nothing to do with you, right? Whatever is happening to you, it is not happening because you are responsible for it. See, you cannot be responsible for the other person's behavior. What you are responsible for is for your own behavior. You're responsible for your own reactions, and I guess you need to be proud of the fact that someone is, actually going to such a steep level. He's going down and trying to sabotage you in ways that he can, and you are trying to put up a strong front, and you're fighting and you're standing strong. So it in a way should instill a confidence within you that I have projected a very strong personality, I have come across as a strong person. So that should in a way give you a ego boost. So I guess a positive self talk when something of this sort happens to you is a great amount of self love that you can show yourself, right? So talking positively to yourself whenever something of this sort happens is number one strategy, and the utmost utmost top level self care habit that I can recommend you. Number two, you can go for your support system, for seeking out help, for seeking out their advice, for grieving out, for talking to them and venting out whatever has happened, and that in a way would help you calm yourself, would help you gain your control, and maybe next day morning when you get up you would be energized and come back really strong, even stronger than you were before. So talking to your close family, friends about what is happening and how you are reacting to it, and seeking their support is very important, especially when you're dealing and working in such situations for a prolonged period of time. So if you're not having a support system, you can go for a therapy. You can talk to your therapist. You can tell him this is what has happened, this is how you've reacted, and what are the other ways you can suggest wherein I can help survive in such kind of an environment. Well, surviving in such kind of a toxic environment is never recommended, especially for a prolonged period. You have to get your way out from such situations. But in case if for some reason you're not able to do so, for any reasons, it could be financial, or it could be any other reason that you would want to stay in such environments, or even if you have such an environment in your own family, it's important that you take that amount of time out and use these strategies to build your confidence, to not let these things impact your own belief about yourself, about how you feel about yourself.